Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is currently Thursday of week 43 in my becoming an artist journey, and a lot has been going on, so let's talk about it. First off, the books. So my friend and I did finish the Once and Future Witches. I think she would end up giving it probably a 3 out of 5. I would give it maybe a 3.5 out of 5. But we did both find that the main characters were all pretty one note. The story was kind of predictable and the writing improved pretty drastically towards the end, but it was a little bit lacking during the beginning and the pacing was a little bit off. So it was fine overall. If you like witches, you'd probably like it. If you like Salem witch trial stuff, it was very well researched, and it didn't take place during the Salem witch trials, but there were a lot of elements borrowed from that and they were well done, but overall it was just okay for us. I am now reading The Chosen and the Beautiful. This is a Great Gatsby retelling, and I don't really remember The Great Gatsby that much. I did read it, but this author wrote City of Glass, which I really liked the style of, and so far I'm really liking the style of how this is written. So we'll see how that goes. I am hoping to finish it before the end of the month, which is soon, so I need to get on that. As far as games go, we have been doing a little bit of RV There Yet with friends, a little bit of Jackbox with friends. I dipped my toes into Animal Crossing a little bit. I played a little bit of Slime Rancher. I booted Silksong up and then realized it was too much and then closed it back down. I've been doing a lot more drawing than gaming, which is good. I have now started my new job, and so far it's been very good. I am coming home feeling like a normal person and not like a husk. And that means that I do have the energy to do some drawing after work. I do have the energy to, try to get some editing done. I'm getting a lot more done after work, and that's been very good. I did film a little bit of said drawing over the course of the week, so we are gonna kind of catch you guys back up right after this. But yeah, that's where I'm at. My social media time has plummeted since starting my new job, just overall, because I have so much more energy, so I'm not doom scrolling after work every day. I have not been consuming a ton of art content, but I did just buy some stuff from Sibylline during her sale that I'm really excited about. I got something from Vesper Twine that is probably not coming until like the end of next month, which is totally fine, but I'm also excited about. So I'm supporting artists, but I'm definitely not consuming a lot of content. As far as school goes, my current assignments are doing 10 head studies and doing 3 environment studies. I'm probably halfway through the head studies. I'll grab my sketchbook and we can look through it in a minute. And my friends gave me a ton of really good environments from their favorite games, so I'm gonna probably do some studies from those. I would love to get that stuff done this week, but I have stuff every day. Like every day. So it's probably not gonna happen this week, but I am hoping to finish those 2 assignments. I'm gonna catch you guys up on the drawing that we've done so far, and then we will keep going. Bye. Okay, so here is kind of what you guys have missed. I did a couple of little drawings during combat and D&D, just because I find that it helps me focus on what's happening when it's not my turn. I know that seems counterintuitive, but it does work for me. And then all of these ballpoint pen drawings, which I've actually grabbed these guys and this guy. These are all from my ideas sketchbook, which is this guy that I grabbed from the basement. It does now look crazy because I've been cutting stuff out of it, but that's fine. I have been just doodling stuff on my lunch at work because I'm taking this sketchbook to work, but not the big one. So I'm doodling some little guys on lunch, and then the nice ones I am cutting out and putting them in my sketchbook so that I can actually see them and refer to them again. So that's what all of these are. This one I added a little bit of acrylic marker on just for fun. So these heads are actually for my 10 heads. So I'm counting this one, 1, 2, 3. So far I'm at 3. I got a couple cats. I'm totally going to make a bigger version of a few of these and make them into stickers, but one thing at a time. Over here, I'm just doing more practice on volumes. So these are cubes and cylinders. I'm trying to start cutting pieces out of it and seeing what that does to the shape. These are a combination of spheres and cylinders, which is a little thing from one of those blind bags. And then I'm starting to try to figure out how to twist shapes or cut shapes in half, which is way harder for my brain. I do like the way that the line weight works on this one to make the corners look more corner-y, I don't know, and more weighted. And then as this kind of gets farther away from you, it gets a little lighter. I think that's fun. But otherwise, I'm kind of just like okay with these. I do totally want to make these guys into stickers. So those are the sketches that I've done this week. I'm excited to keep making progress and keep doing heads, and then I'm going to do some environments. I am pretty happy with how this turned out, honestly. I think that this would probably make a cool sticker or maybe even a print, but it is very small, so we'd have to see. But that could be cool on the back of like a business card or something. The moral of this story is that I need to start drawing bigger. So we are halfway through the head drawing assignment, and then we'll start the environments. Voiceover Emily here to immediately put myself on blast for setting the camera up so that my hand was blocking the whole drawing. Oh, why? I do find that having the sketchbook on the easel is so much more comfortable for me drawing, but is impossible to film. If you guys have any ideas, put them in the comments, because maybe it's that my setup is that my extra space is only on the right side of my desk, which is behind my hand. I've tried a few things that I could clip to the easel, but I haven't been happy with any of them. Long story short, I started doing some more head studies as warm-up. These I just spent very little time blocking out. I just put some washable marker over top of the pencil, and now I'm just going in with ballpoint pen to add some, I don't know, lines, I guess. I really wanted to get to the environments, so I was trying to not spend 8,000 years doing more portrait studies, because the reality is I will do portrait studies on my own. You don't need to assign me to it. So I wanted to make sure that I was putting the most of my energy and the most of my time into the environment studies. So I wouldn't say that I did an amazing job on any of these, but they are fulfilling the assignment. I did do a decent job on the first like 4 of 10, but at the end of the day, I needed to continue making progress, and I knew that I would practice this more in the future, so I wasn't worried about it. So let's talk about the environment studies. I'm going to do 3 environment studies, one at 20 minutes, one at 30 minutes, and one at 45 minutes. So here we're starting with the 20-minute one. I had no idea how to start. I started the timer and I immediately panicked. I was like, I don't know. Do I put values down? Do I start sketching like I do any other drawing? Like, what do I do here? Totally panicking. I think that you can tell in the time lapse that I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of throwing stuff in. I think that the only thing that really made this work out were those stark highlights at the end. I needed to figure out what I was doing. And then for the second one, I think that the first one was a good warm up and it gave me a foundation. So this one I essentially squinted at the environment study and then started painting in the darkest values and kind of the lightest values. So anywhere I saw a value shift with my eyes squinted is where I painted one in my version. And then by the time I started getting to these highlights and then knowing I was going to go in with kind of some line work in quotes after, I feel like this went really well compared to the first one. And even though it's a really complex environment, I was pretty impressed with how it turned out. And then I thought that I'd be really ballsy and do this intense underground environment. This is definitely one that would have benefited from doing a more dedicated perspective foundation, but I set the timer at 45 minutes. I knew that it would take me at least 45 minutes, if not more, to plan out that foundation. So I kind of just went for it. And I think that all of them turned out pretty decently, especially for the time that I was working with. And I had more fun with this than I thought I would have. That is all for this week. I will see you next week. Bye.